Hey everyone, welcome back to Python Learning. In this video, we are going to discuss about an interesting concept which is a map function. A map is a function. You can just look into an English meaning. Map means like mapping something, right? So similarly, map basically helps in applying any particular function on every element of an iterable object. When I say iterable object, it can be list, tuple, string, etc. Okay, so what do you mean by that? It has a syntax very simple. Map takes two arguments. One is your function, another one is a iterable object. Function can be anything, it can be custom function or it can be lambda function. And iterable in the sense it is list, tuple, or set dictionary, something like that. Okay. So you'll understand it better regarding map once I show an example or once we write any logic. Okay, but simple understanding, map is used to apply a function on every element of your object. That's a simple definition you people have to remember. Let me show here. So let's say I want to find square of each number in a list. So this question can be solved in two different ways. Let me show you both the approaches. One is, so basically we know how to find square of single element. Usually we define function, let's e square of, I'll just pass single parameter and then I'll just say written x double asterisk 2, right? So and then if I call sq of 2, it's going to tell me what is the square of 2. Obviously square of 2 is going to be 4, right? So now, let's say for example, I have a list of numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now my question is very simple. I have to apply the square function so that, I want list of square of each number. I want square of each number in a list format itself. So for that, what I'll do, I want result in a list format, right? So use a list. If you want in tuple, you can use a tuple, your wish, okay? And then I'll call a map function. So now what this map will do? So map takes two arguments as we know. One is a function, another one is an iterable object. In this case, function is your SQ is a function. Okay, and your iterable object is a. So what will happen if I run? Now, map is responsible for applying square function on every element of a list so that, you will get square of each number in a list format. That's an interesting thing about, map. What it is doing, it is mapping function on every element of your list. So it is passing individual element to your function. So it's doing a task like, squaring. Understood? The same thing can also be done with a lambda function in just one line of code. You can just call list of map of. Instead of defining your custom function and instead of calling your function name, you can directly define your lambda. So lambda x, and you can just use x double asterisk because we have already studied what is lambda, how to define and all. I'm just using a same logic. So map of the first argument is going to be a function, and then you have to tell on which you are applying. I'm applying on a. See here. So previously we wrote custom function first and then we applied that function on every element of an object. Now simple in one single line. First, lambda is responsible for squaring each element and it's going to return result in a list format. So how the squaring is happening? So usually when we use custom function or a lambda, at a time one single element can be squared. But with the help of a map, we can apply that function on every element of your object. Hope it's clear. Great. So same way, what if you want to find cube of each number in a tuple? You can just use list of map of function is going to be lambda x, single parameter, and expression is x double asterisk 3. And then comma, your object is going to be a. See, you got a cube of each number. 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube, 4 cube, etc. Hope it's clear. Great. Next thing is, convert all the elements in a list into an uppercase. Let's say, for example, you have a list like, skills is equal to, let's say SQL, let's say Java, let's say Python. Okay, and then I'll say Power BI and ML. I want to convert every element in this list into an uppercase. So we all know that upper is a method which can be applied only on a string. I cannot apply it with a list. It doesn't work. So in that case, what I'll do, I'll just use a concept called as a map. Okay, and I'm going to define a lambda function, lambda x colon. I'll just say like, x dot upper. Now x is going to be a single string, right? On a string, I can apply upper function. Comma, you just need to pass your list of skills. Done. You got all the values converted into an uppercase. That's an interesting thing about, map. Hope you are getting. Great. So next, convert list of strings into an integer. Let's say, for example, you have a list of strings like, one, two, three, and then you have a four. Sorry, yeah, four. And then we have a font. You can see a list of string elements you have, right? String integers, you have it. So I'll just use list of map of. So I'll define a lambda function, which is easy. Things can happen in one single line. And you know how to convert a string integer into an integer? We just use integer of an x. Then, comma, I'll just pass list. So it's going to help me in converting all the elements of a list into an integer format. Clear? Simple. Okay. Next interesting question is, given a list of product prices, you have to apply a 10% discount using a mark function to get the final price. So formula is also given, it should be price minus price time 10%. 10% in the sense like 10 by 100, which is 0.1. Okay, again simple. So take a list of prices and then list of map of, you can write lambda function, lambda price, variable is going to be price, and expression is going to be what? So price minus price times 10% in a sense, it's just 0.1, comma, it should be prices. Okay, done. All right, map should have a two parameters. I did one dumb mistake. This bracket should be outside. Yes. Look here. 10% of 50 is basically 45, 100. 10% of 100 is 90. 10% of 150 is 135. 10% of 200 is 20, which is 180. Subtracting discount with actual price. Okay, great. Next interesting one is you just need to classify each word in our list as even or odd. Again, you know basically how to check whether given number is even or odd, right? So basically what we do, so I'll just use list of map of. Okay, I'll start with lambda x, and then first it has to return an even. If x modulo 2 is equal to 0, else it has to return odd, right? And then I'll just use comma, iterable object should be what? Okay, we don't have anything. Let me see. Yeah, I'll just call it like A. So I'll just take list of elements like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Great. Okay, so it is list of map of. We are writing a lambda function just to classify whether it's an even or odd. So now this function is going to apply, map will apply this function on every element of A, and it's going to give you, wherever you have an odd number, you are getting like a odd. Wherever you have an even number, you are getting like a even. Okay, yeah, great. So similarly, classify each number in a list as, positive or a negative. Again, same logic, you just need to take a list of numbers. Let's say 1, -2, 3, -4, 6, 80. Okay. And then I'll just give it like a 9. Again, same thing, list of, map of, I'm just using a lambda x, and it has to return me positive if x is greater than 0, else it has to return me negative. Okay, and then we have to pass an iterable object, which is A. Well done. This is how mapping is going to work. Hope it's clear. So this is kind of, usually this is useful whenever you want to apply any particular function on multiple elements. One option is you have to use a for loop. And if you want to return results in list format or a tuple format, and if you want to minimize your code to just one single line, then definitely lambda along with map plays a very important role in shortening your code and getting results in very less time. Okay, so this is all about a map function. I hope it's clear. Happy learning.